Why Nolan makes his movies confusing on purpose? Or Christopher Nolan doesn't want you to understand his movies right now? You can walk into two different theaters and watch two different versions of Christopher Nolan's movie. Same actors, same story, different movies. And he did that on purpose. The Odyssey is already out in theaters. Biggest opening of the year for a movie with real actors, not superheroes. Nolan shot it on an old school film in a bunch of different formats. Some theaters show it huge on IMAX, some show it in smaller, some show it in digital. So depending on where you go, you are not getting a bigger screen. You are getting a different experience of the same film. He calls this heightened naturalism. I call it a guy who wants the theater itself to mess with you a little bit. Here's a fun fact people forget. Nolan's very first movie cost about $6,000, made with friends and family. A couple of lamps, no fancy gear, barely any budget. And instead of hiding those limits, he turned them into his style. That make it real, make it raw thing? It didn't come from money. It came from not having any. Which means everything it does now, real film, real location, real stunts, isn't him being fancy. It's him recreating being broke with $1 billion budget. Quick ask, if you are digging into real stories behind public figures, that's our series, People of the World, right here on The Halak Show. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. So, time is basically his whole personality as a filmmaker. In Inception, little objects called totems help characters figure out what's real, what's a dream. In Interstellar, time becomes something people are literally running out of. A dad ages slower than his daughter because of the space physics, and it destroys them both. In Dunkirk, he shows you the same plane crash twice. The first one, the pilot looks fine. The second time, from a different angle, you realize he's actually drowning. Nolan doesn't repeat scenes because he's lazy. He repeats them because he wants you to realize you got it wrong the first time. So here's my point. Nolan might be the most controlling director working today. Real effects instead of CGI. Real locations, real film, not digital. Watch how tight and simple his fight scenes are. No showing off, no long fancy camera moves. Compare his Batman fight scenes to the one in The Batman by Matt Reeves. Reeves wanted you to feel how scary Batman is. Nolan just wants to get to the next scene. No wasted time, no wasted shots. And yet, this is the same guy who puts masks on his characters so you literally can't hear what they are saying. Who lets the music get so loud in Interstellar that you can barely hear Michael Caine explain the one thing that makes the whole movie make sense? A guy who plans every single shot down to the smallest detail will not let you clearly hear the words coming out of people's mouth. That's not a one-time mistake. It happens in movies after movies, which means it's not an accident, it's a choice. This shows up in his characters too. In Tenet, the villain wants to destroy the entire world, and we never really find out why. We barely see the other character's son on the screen at all, but we are supposed to care deeply about him anyways. Meanwhile, that same movie will spend way too long explaining complicated science stuff nobody asked about. He'll explain the physics for 5 minutes but won't explain why a character feels certain way, backwards. But hold on. Nolan himself has said the sound mix actually changes between different versions of his films, not just different theaters, the actual movie. So this confusion isn't some technical mistake from a guy who's usually so precise. It's the same instinct behind giving the Odyssey 5 different formats this week. He will trade you being confused for you having a bigger, more intense experience every single time. And somehow, in a year where almost every big movie is a sequel or a reboot or based on something you have already seen, a guy making an original movie based on a 3,000-year-old Greek poem just had the biggest opening of the year. In a world where everyone wants things fast and easy, shortest videos, AI summaries, skip the boring parts, Nolan is out here making movies you can't fully get unless you actually sit down, pay attention, and deal with being a little confused. And maybe that's the whole trick. He's not confusing people by accident. He's making confusion part of the ticket price, and enough people are willing to pay for it that he might be the last director who can make an original non-superhero movie a massive hit. So yeah, you can watch the Odyssey in 5 different formats, but honestly, that's nothing new. Christopher Nolan has been giving you 5 different movies with the same title for 25 years. You just never noticed the theater wasn't the only thing changing. Curiosity meets conversation. This is the whole idea behind People of the World show. So like if it makes you think, share it with someone who overanalyzes movies too, and drop a comment telling me which director you want us to take next. Keep sharing, keep supporting. See you guys soon.